Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Switch to Justice Jim, Trusted Jim, got a Quita, or you can call me Quita, either one will do. I answer to both. Please like, share, subscribe, donate. If you hear my washer in the background, I'm sorry. I have to keep my clothes, my kids' clothes washed up. I'm washing my daughter's stuff, her bedding. And if you hear the fans, y'all know it's hot. So I'm gonna try to speak. I can speak really loud, so I'm gonna try to keep my voice loud. But today we're gonna talk about Queen Jezebel Bertha. And do y'all know it's a lodge named after this particular energy? I say energy because what I noticed that they do is they'll take characteristics or something that someone did, whether it's negative or positive, and if they think it's monumental or influential, they will take the name and the essence of that thing and then turn it into something entity. Like they'll take something someone did and turn it into something greater, whether it's positive or negative. And it is a lodge named after her. It's a lodge named after so it's a lodge, it's a Freemason lodge named Queen Bertha. It really is. You can look it up. And let me get it. I got my notes, my little card that I already took the information. Yeah, it says Queen Bertha of Kent. That's how they used to announce people way back in that time. Um, 506 to AD to 601 AD. I think I read something different. Yeah. Oh, 601 plus AD. Yeah, it's five. It says something different now. It changed on Google, so you really have to research yourself. But it's 539 to 616. And how I know this is the correct information, they're trying to confuse me, is because I just did this information day before yesterday. And this is trying to, now it's more vague, so they try to go in front of me to confuse me, to cause me not to doubt myself or to make me look like a liar. But the Holy Spirit already let me know that this is the correct information. um she was a dangerous influencer, ultimately coming to a violent end. Um, and I didn't know what to particularly make of that, but what I gather is what she did to her husband. She was known for introducing the ball. So people who practice ball or practice worship Malak, these they 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 like worship Queen Bertha. It came from her. She was the one that introduced it. It was already a religion. It was already a thing but it wasn't as big until she stepped in the scene. She was a big influential person in uh, the ball worship. She was a big influence on it. What happened? I was gonna say, yeah, she was a big influence on it, and it's something else the Holy Spirit just pointed out. She was known for introducing Baal worship to Israel. Um, she was known for persecuting prophets. A lot of prophets are like truth tellers. I like to say truth tellers. And hold on, y'all. My AC thing had came out, so I had to put it back in. But um, where was I? She was known for introducing Baal worship to Israel. So this is where Israel get their Baal worship from, and they Queen Bertha, and that's when somebody say they have a Jezebel spirit. That's what that means. Like they have a dangerous, heavy, satanic influence, like a heavy control over somebody. They like to use control, but the Holy Spirit is saying influence, and that's what the Holy Spirit want me to talk about. When people sell their souls, I'm sorry, I'm looking off in space. It's just that I don't know. Me looking up helps me to remember things. When people sell their souls, how it was saying that you really can't sell your soul. You can't. Well, in a sense, you can't, because anybody that can control your feelings and emotions and you're willingly letting them do it, it's not like it's unintentional. But when you go sounding like, oh, and I sell my soul to get this fame, this fortune, whatever. Ultimately, you are selling your influence. So when you see celebrities they say they're puppets, it's because they're taken after Queen Jezebel, Queen Bertha, by being influential, and what they want to do is influence you to be evil, influence you to buy certain things. Like just like we had that wave of people who wanted BBLs and who were plastics, and we still have them. They still a lot of them still stand on the business. But a lot of people end up with their life taken and hurt and wasn't educated. That is a Jezebel spirit, and we all because I'm so glad the Holy Spirit broke this down because I had I tried to understand a Jezebel spirit and I thought it was somebody that just was controlling, but it's not just it's a heavy dark feminine energy that's I think the word controlling is kind of vague, but when you use the word influential, I think you get more of what you get the wholeness, the gist of everything. It brings it all together. So not only was Jezebel a controlling spirit, like, oh, you do this, that's what we think controlling is, but this is subtle control. Like one person go get a BBL, and then you have this whole line of people who are getting BBLs and risking their lives on the table just so they can have some more ass or around their ass or whatever and a flat tummy. So it's not a controlling spirit in a sense of, oh, you do this or you do. It's a controlling spirit. Well, I'm doing this, and then they can like influence people to do that, and to do that also. They don't have to say, oh, go do this. This is great. Somebody can get up there and talk about it and be like, oh, this is great for me. It worked for me, and they look wonderful. They look good, but they didn't give you the pros and cons. That's a Jezebel spirit. People who are, like a lot of celebrities have Jezebel spirits, and it's because they have heavy demonic influence. A Jezebel spirit is a controlling spirit. It's a heavily influenced spirit. Like you see Whitney Houston, she didn't have a Jezebel spirit. She wasn't, and that's why they took her out, because she had a big light. She wasn't influencing nobody to do nothing. She just sung about love, and you felt the music, you understood her. It wasn't about she wouldn't got a BBL. Just because Whitney was in a bad marriage or doing drugs, you didn't see a whole line of people doing drugs because Whitney was doing it. She didn't have a Jezebel spirit. When you see people who get BBLs and then they have a whole line of people that they can influence, like how Cardi and how Cardi B can go do something and everybody else want to go do. That's a Jezebel spirit. Cardi has a Jezebel spirit, and she can influence them. BBLs, talking, fighting. I'm not saying she don't do some positive things, but a lot of her stuff is not. You're not going to be, oh, take his money, oh, do this. It's not like she's celebrating, oh, he gonna marry. It's not a positive influence. And then she's stark naked. When Whitney Houston got on the stage, Whitney Houston she never had to be stark naked, and she sold way more, and she was way more popular than Cardi B. And I hate to put them side by side, but this is me explaining the Jezebel spirit. I hope Cardi don't take it the wrong way, because I don't mean it in no harm. Anybody can be, you can deliver yourself from a Jezebel spirit, but I like to call the spade, and the Holy Spirit is going to allow me to call the spade. And like Nikki, she has a Jezebel spirit. How she said she had to have Roman in her, and he likes doing this and stuff like that. Alter ego, and then all the Barbs. People who have fan bases that, oh, the Barbs, oh, this and that. Like Tabitha Brown. Tabitha Brown is a very positive influence. She doesn't have a Jezebel spirit. She'll say, okay, go buy this. Okay, I'll be my. Her brand is very nurturing. It's not like, oh, we don't play about Tabitha Brown because we look at Big Mama. We look at her as a very righteous woman. We don't look at her as, oh, she gonna tell you to bust this window car. She gonna tell you to do all this. She won't tell you to do all that. And she's influencing you to do all that. Nobody. Tabitha is not influencing somebody to go bust somebody's car window. She's never going to influence somebody to go get stark naked on half naked on the stage and shake their ass for some cash. She's never going to influence you to do something negative. You know what I'm saying? She does have a heavy influence, but it's not dangerous. It's not in a how can I say? It's not in an evil way. It's not in a negative way. She's never gonna tell you, hey, go get Botox. Hey, go get go get stuff. This, go get surgery and do all this stuff. And she's not a woman that's not that is ungodly. You can tell she's a very godly woman, meaning of high standard, meaning divine. I'm not talking about Satan. If you serve Satan, I don't serve Satan. So when I refer to God, I'm talking about of divine nature, people that ascend higher and learn and grow and teach others how to learn and grow. Tabitha is a brand that's very positive, that's very nurturing. Okay? But like I said, Cardi has a Jezebel spirit. Nikki has a Jezebel spirit. Those are Jezebel spirits. Like when they, for instance, when I really want to emphasize this, when Cardi was talking about Bi, everybody was like, name five top five Bill songs, gun to your head, bang. That's so negative. If somebody bashed my kid or my daughter, I'm not gonna get on stage and I wouldn't do that if I had that kind of influence, or if I was doing that type of stuff. That's a Jezebel. So and then it's a trend that people are doing, and then it's personal beef between Cardi and that. I was looking at it like I'm a woman. I would never jump in that. You know what I mean? I would never be like top five, and I don't think that that's a flex on anybody's part, because you don't know what Cardi had to do to get up there. She shared some of this stuff, but Cardi, let's be honest, she talked about she robbed people and was doing all that stuff. She was doing all that crazy stuff. And then Bia is more laid back out of the spotlight. And she does have one, but it just was uncalled for. And whatever Bia did, whatever they did, they could have squashed that behind the scene. Didn't have to be in front of public. And it was very influential in a very dangerous and very how can I say it, a very negative, evil way, because you're bringing that beef to on stage. She said you should have never talked about my child, but it's so many other mature ways that Cardi could have handled it, and y'all be like, oh gosh, Cardi's so real because this and that. Sometimes what we call real is just pettiness, and she tell you she a petty. One thing about Cardi, she would be truthful and say she petty. It's just pettiness, and it just show a level of me being a woman. It just shows a level of maturity that Cardi hasn't reached, and I hate to say it, and I don't hate to say it, but I hate to be the one to have to point that out and be like the Debbie Downer, but it just is what it is. I would never, somebody talk about my kid, I would never, and I was in a spotlight, I would never, I would never just go shame them. I would just tell the truth. I would like, it like, you don't matter, like her opinion don't matter. My kid gonna still eat, breathe, like what Bia said, it didn't equate to the same thing. And those are when people have negative influences. Those are Jezebel spirits, very controlling, very influential in a dangerous way, because it's showing people that they don't have to mature, that they can go around and bash other women and call them Bia ugly. And Bia is very beautiful. That girl is beautiful. I didn't know what's ugly about her. Bia look like she could be a model. I'm just my opinion. I'm just not one. And then Cardi has grown a lot too. She and she has grown from who she used to be a lot too. She's still the same person, don't get me wrong, but she's grown a lot. But these are people who, we're talking about Jezebel spirit, these are people with highly dangerous intellectual spirits. So who else has a Jezebel spirit? Carisha has a Jezebel spirit. That's a Jezebel spirit. I'm trying to think of a man that I can really point out that has a Jezebel spirit, because I don't want to be biased here and just point out all the women, because men very well have Jezebel spirits too, a very controlling spirit. But men don't typically behave in that type of way. I don't know. If it come, it come. I'm not gonna force it. But it's some men that have Jezebel spirits as well. But it's more, I would say, like, women have more of a Jezebel spirit, and the dark feminine have more of a Jezebel spirit, and the male feminist male who have a feminine that Delilah spirit is more working through men. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like what was his name? Jeffrey Epstein. That's someone that has a Delilah spirit. He was out to destroy. He has a destroyer spirit. P. Diddy, a destroyer spirit. As we can see, Donald Trump has a Jezebel spirit, because he's highly influential, and because he got people to do the what you call it on June 6th, January 6th, when he got up there and got the people to know. That's a Jezebel spirit in a man. And he also has a destroyer spirit, because look what he did with Iran, and look what he's doing. He has both. He has a Jezebel spirit and a Delilah spirit on him. He has both. Trump has both. He's been utilized by both spirits. His feminine in here is you could tell when a man's feminine is hurt, because he's aggressive with the things that he do. When men divine feminine within themselves is fractured, yeah, especially in more, because I'm not this color. I'm this color, so I don't really like to speak on this color activities a lot, because I don't, I don't participate. I just don't. I tend to stay my distance from those type of people, because I see a lot of those type of people do things that are unsafe. They'll be nice in your face, and then they're gonna do some unsavory things, and you will never know that they have a beef with you until it's beef with you. You know what I mean? And it's not the type of beef how black people be like, oh, I got da, da, da. No, they just will destroy you silently, and that's very dangerous. That's why Trump is dangerous. He's loud, but he's not loud too. Trump is loud, but he's not loud too, and you have to be careful with people like that. If you know, you know, and I have to explain it. But Trump has a Jezebel spirit, and he has a Delilah spirit. Offset. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Offset has a Delilah spirit. He's a destroyer. Look what he did. Look what you could tell the fruits of their labor on P Diddy and on Sean and Trump, is because they're in powerful. The more powerful the person get, the more the spirit grows. You know what I'm saying? How he was raping people. Sean, we talking about Sean and Trump too. How they were raping people, and how they were doing how they was moving, and then they had this massive amount of money. Delilah spirit, destroyer spirit. They both have destroyer spirit, and the Holy Spirit said Peter had a Jezebel spirit too. Highly influential. He can get people. He used his power to destroy people, to cause them harm, and even allegedly could have, had something to do with Tupac's murder and Biggie's. Allegedly, I don't know. He could have had something to do with that, and others too. There's a couple others that was involved too. I'm just gonna say allegedly. We don't want them type of problems. I don't got no money for you to get anyways. So if y'all trying to, I'm just a truth teller. So if you're trying to come over here and trying to find something over here, and I'm just telling the truth. And it's not like I'm not speaking on things that's not out there. You can see the fruits of the spirit. Jezebel's spirit is a very controlling spirit, and it's not controlling in the sense of, oh, you better do this. It's a highly influential controlling spirit. It's a influential. Oh, he got this way, so I'm gonna go gang bang and get it this way. Oh, Trump scammed and fried, so I'm gonna go scam and fried and get it this way. He gonna understand if I have to get locked up, he gonna get me out. You know what I mean? You can see the fruits of the spirit. It's not nothing that you can't prove it. This is facts. It's not something allegedly that I'm saying. It's facts. Look at their track records. You can pull up his records and see that Trump has committed a lot of crimes. It's not allegedly. It's just not. When it comes to a Jezebel spirit and a Delilah spirit, I'm talking about allegedly when it came to Tupac and all that, legal stuff. But these are men and women who has a lot of Jezebel spirits. And I say Cardi because Cardi came from the hood where she was robbing men and stuff like that, and doing what they call catching a lick. That's what in Florida, that's what we call catching a lick, when you go out there and do stuff like that. And so, like, these are people who have those type of spirits. But let's get back onto Jezebel, and the reason why we call the reason why we say people have Jezebel spirits. They worship people like this. Like, I don't know, I'm not saying Cardi do, but people in those type of positions, celebrities, and that, I'm not gonna name no celebrity, but they belong to Freemason. This is a lodge. This is a Freemason lodge, named after her name was Queen Jezebel Bertha, and it's a lodge that's named after her, and they do participate in these type of activities, and they worship this type of influence. A dangerous influencer ultimately coming to a violent end. And she made her husband come to a violent end. We'll get to that in a minute. Known for introducing the Baal worship. I think I said that to Israel. So Israel get their religion from Jezebel. Jezebel was the was the one that influenced Israel. The not us Israel that God named us Israel, but the Israel that was mimicked and copied out of the present day Israel, the country Israel, the present day Israel. They this is what they did. This is where they get their religion from. This is who influenced them. So this is ultimately the deity that they serve. Because if they worship Baal, you know, and she killed a lot of prophets, a lot of the truth tellers. Like I said, if you're talking about prophets, that's more of a religious. You know, if you're talking about truth teller, that's more of. I identify with both because I do come from a religious background, but I also have evolved and understand that I'm not just a prophet. I'm a truth teller. I'm not just this. I'm a mouthpiece of God. And I know religion, I know boundaries can hold me. So I just like to say truth tellers, whether you're a prophet or whether you're a psychic, it's the same thing, a truth teller. You get what I'm saying? Um, and she did that. She maneuvered the death of Naboth to secure land. So she did this to steal land, to make land theirs. She's a daughter of Ithabal, or whatever his name, of Tyre. Um, and this comes out of Israel 1 King 6. Queen Bertha of Kent influenced 450 prophets. She didn't. It wasn't saying that she influenced some, random people on the street. Lord, she influenced prophets. That's how influential. That's how dangerous she is. People who were divinely orchestrated to serve God back then, divinely orchestrated to be in ministry, took on these dangerous practices. 450 prophets serve Baal under her influence. And that's why she's a big deal. That's why they got a lodge out there, because she's a big deal. And this is one of the most sneakiest energies that have caused wars, that has caused people to get up here and play puppets. This is one of the biggest is this I don't know this lady name. I forget it, but it's a story that came out where a woman had went to a man's house and he had arrested or something like that, and the Holy Spirit is bringing it back, and she was powder herself. That's what happens to you. That's that Delilah spirit. That's that Jezebel spirit that got to her. That man that she slept with carried. When you see women act the same way after sleeping with a man and being with them for years, that particular man that she was with, he carried a Jezebel spirit. He carried a Delilah spirit, a destroyer spirit, a very high, because they gave their uterus, their yoni energy to Jezebel spirit. To not only did they give it to a Jezebel spirit, to someone that had a Delilah spirit, and they end up destroying them, both women. And I think, what's her name? She's so pretty. I think she was on one of them shows that I like. I can't think of her name. I'm not good with names, y'all. But if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But she just shared her story, and she said she had to go to court. He stole her money, and he just did the Jezebel spirit, Delilah spirit working men. Jezebel spirits work in men too, not just women, in both. But it's a highly influential feminine energy. You have to understand that this is feminine energy, meaning it's soft, it's subtle. The feminine has that thing, a certain thing about them. It's a soft, subtle energy, not soft in a way like, nurturing. It's soft in a way like, well, you don't see me coming. It's like a hidden energy. It's like a stubble energy. I should say stubble. It's a stubble energy. This is a stubble energy that these people that this man have, and both of them women end up doing the same exact thing, being in the same particular situation, and it's because that man carries a Jezebel spirit, a destroyer spirit. So the women that he sleep with, that he gets involved with, he controls them, their emotions in a certain way. He knows how to manipulate them in a certain way to get them to do certain things. They came to his house acting erratic, They had a baby together. The baby was the middle piece for both of them. You know what I'm saying? And they did this weird. They had this weird pattern. Right? They had, but I recognized it. They had this weird pattern going on, and I recognized it when he said they came to the house. Remember the girl? I think her name was Rory or Royce or something like that. Came to the house and caught her with another woman, and then she got irate. This is that Jezebel spirit. This is that Delilah spirit. This is that destroyer spirit. This is that heavily influential, dangerous spirit. And then people was making a spin. I don't mean to smile, but it's how you get a whole bag of cocaine? Is that yours or his? And that's how you get caught up in people. Oh, that's my AC. That's how you get caught up in people energies that don't mean like you. Like, I don't know why I got here. She's just crying and she's sniffing out online. It's because his demons is not her demons. He carried the Jezebel spirit. He carried that freaking not only did he carry the Jezebel, that destroyer spirit, that Delilah spirit. And she had I think that she had a man. I used to watch her and her other dude, and I didn't never know that she had switched partners or nothing. That's how I keep up with people on it. So just a smidge, a season. And then I come back online. It's this big story that she's in a relationship with this or marriage or whatever with this guy, and it's just like she left a guy. Maybe he didn't have all that money and stuff, but he loved and cherished her. Some things is not like you can't buy. Like you can't like. Just because somebody make a lot of money don't mean they come with the qualities that your other person have. And you loved him because just for the money for it, and this man was doing everything else, and he worked and he had a job and stuff like that. That's crazy to me. And that greed will do that. And I feel like she had a greedy spirit. She wanted to be seen in a certain light so she could get on. They could get online and talk about this, or it just was an ego thing. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what happened. But the reason why these women got caught up because they gave their yoni energy. That's why I'm so protective about what's between my legs, because it's not just about what's between my legs. It's about my DNA, my health, my mental health. About when you sleep with people. I slept with a narcissist for so long. I'm not gonna pretend like I never slept with a devil or demon. I have. Knowingly, no. Of course we don't do it knowingly. We know what we're getting into. We're not just going, give it to me unless you got something to prove. And that's a whole nother rare breed of people. You feel me? So I'm not gonna never say I never got into it, but this is how I can show you and teach you, because I know I slept with a narcissist for years, and being with narcissistic people will mess up your internal dialogue. And what I mean by this, because they come to break you down from the core, your truth, or what you feel, the way you filter through stuff, because you have their energy on you, which is they can't face the truth, so you're not going to be able to see the truth even if it's in your face. You're not, because narcissists, they lose their memory from trauma, or they don't take accountability and all this stuff, and it's because they avoid and healing that inner child. They avoiding something that happened to them when they was younger. Instead of healing from it, they use their ego to inflate, to cover it up. And then you have someone that's trying to cover everything. So when you're sleeping with that person and they're trying to hide and cover, your truth is going to be hidden. Your truth is going to be distorted, because you're giving your yoni to someone who is distorted within themselves. So you're going to be distorted. And then these women were giving themselves to Jezebel, highly influential, dangerous spirits, highly influential, destroyer spirits, that Jezebel spirit, that Delilah spirit. So they ended up destroying her image. Y'all online, my heart go out to her. I'm not saying I'm better than her. I'm not saying none of that. I'm just simply pointing out what's the underlying cause. She can get her glory back. She can get back to her full glory, but she has to understand it was her giving her yoni energy to this destroyer spirit. She got to identify the spirit, and then once you identify the spirit or spirits, she can get delivered from them, and then she can move on and get returned back to her normal self, and understand for the love of money is the root of all evil. And when you understand that means that the love of money and the root of all evil goes so many different ways, but the gist of that is just, what I mean, you open the door for so many evil things to happen to you, or you to do evil to someone, because you love money, because you love capitalism. For the love of money is the root of all evil. And because this man gave you things that this man could never, in the morality that the man that she had before, And then the one that before had morality, and even though he didn't have a lot of money, God allows certain people to have a certain financial finances because they know that you can't handle that. But when you get this spirit of greed and get out of alignment with what and who you're supposed to be, and then you go over here, and that the love of money is the root of all evil. This man had the money, but he didn't have the morality. He didn't have the capacity to love you or to love her like this other man did. He didn't have that capacity. He was missing that. And so what he did was draw what she had and what was given to her for those years from that man, and he destroyed it. And he gave her that influential spirit. That dangerous where she had to destroy herself, when she was online, destroy herself. People was laughing, talking. He humiliated her. I don't laugh at stuff like that. I did laugh at. It's not at the situation. It's people are dumb. The internet is stupid. Like people, I go to the comment section just to laugh at some posts, and this is what the internet does. And the devil know that. The devil know that, and he used that Delilah spirit and that Jezebel spirit to destroy her. He used her own greed, and then from her own greed, it opened up the door for evil to come into her. And that's what happened. It destroyed her image. It destroyed her. It could have killed her, but it didn't. Thank God he hasn't evolved to that yet. That's probably going to be his next victim. Probably that's how he evolved. That's how the devil works. I don't want to speak it into existence, but that's how the devil works. It escalates. It evolves. That's why I know that how they used to get possessed back in the day, and they had to be forced because nobody was letting them in. Nah, they don't even let them be forced. They just walk up, please take me. Open up my soul. I just killed I just unalived the baby. I just dropped the blood, and come get me. And I want to, they doing it freely now. The devil don't have to treat nobody. They just walking around here like, yeah, look what me and this demon did. What they do? What they do? This is what they do. But this was about Queen Jezebel, and we did. I guess the Holy Spirit wanted to talk about the Delilah spirit, because the Delilah spirit, somebody that has a Jezebel spirit, pretty much have a Delilah spirit. Is both of them that's attached. And the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm noticing the pattern in P. Diddy. Because not only did he have a heavily influential Jezebel spirit, not only was he very dangerously influential, but he also destroyed people's lives. He also, look how he beat Cassie. And that's not allegedly. Oh, my AC keep doing that. That's not allegedly. That's the truth. That's exactly what happened. We saw the tape. I don't have to say allegedly. Look at what he did to her. That's someone that has a Jezebel spirit, a very influential, dangerous spirit. That's someone that has a controlling spirit. Not saying that all the time he's like this. It's not. It's just that when it's time for the spirit to get in action about that action, they do. They do. Their spirit does. And the Holy Spirit said it go hand in hand. The more that I'm seeing it in my mind, the Holy Spirit is like, most people who has a Jezebel spirit has that Delilah spirit. That Delilah spirit ain't too far behind. Or if they have that Delilah spirit, they have that Jezebel. It's not too far behind. It's not too far behind. It's not. It's not. It's not. They're partners. So, and the only reason I brought up P. Diddy, I know y'all be like, I don't know normal people. I don't be in nobody else's face. So I can't tell you about nobody else but my family and these celebrities, because they on here. These are the people that the devil like to really use to influence us to do, to influence us to do evil and to be okay with what they do. Okay? But yeah. Queen Jezebel, she actually was a whole human being, very demonic. And if you go deeper, look at her background. I think, I don't know if her father was demonic, but it was someone in her family. It's either her grandfather, her father was demonic, and one of them wasn't. They were very divine people, and that's why I like to tell people, like, the devil like to take whole people, and he like to destroy them and break them and make them into something evil. That's what he like to do. That's his favorite thing to do. Is to take people who are other height. That's why they did it to Britney Spears, and he's like, we're just gonna make an example out of her. and she got a conservatorship, and they did all this stuff to her. Now they saying that she was sex trafficked and all of this. They did all that stuff to that girl because she had a light. She had a bright light. Whitney was the same thing. Whitney had a light. She wasn't a dark influence. Even Whitney had problems. Whitney was on drugs. Whitney will tell you that she wasn't. We know she was. We know that about Whitney. But she never said harm to kids. You couldn't get Whitney to eat a child. You couldn't get Whitney to harm a child. Okay? When Whitney sung, Whitney healed people. When Whitney talked, she talked with sense and clarity. She didn't hate on Mariah Carey. She gave Mariah Carey her props. She didn't hate on her. She understood when she was being pitted against someone, and she did the opposite. I'm not saying people who have lights are perfect. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that in the level of what they are, they understand what's right and what's wrong, and they will never harm. They may harm themselves, but they're never going to go purposely harm someone else, and that's the difference, especially children, and especially with Whitney. What happened to Whitney, and she was great too when she was a child, and so she was one of those souls that had something so sacred taken from her, but still was a good person, still was a light, and that's so beautiful. And that's probably why they unalived her, because she probably, I'm speculating, allegedly, because I don't know, but I just know that when you have a light, or you have something the devil wants, he will send these spirits after you through people, through sex. Sex is the biggest thing Satan uses. Sex is the biggest thing Satan uses. That's why we, in this time, is imperative. HIV is rampant. He used sex as pass out diseases, not only physical but spiritual. We know this. And then people knew there was an HIV outbreak, and then they went on some spring break, went to Texas. That's why people say, "Oh, you moved to Texas?" Hell no. I'm not saying Texas is a bad place, but you gotta understand the mindset and the people that moved there. They went on spring break, and they said they was just in the car outside in traffic, just giving it up. I'm not saying you're wrong, but to people you don't know, with no protection, and it's man on man, that means you all up in somebody's poop shoot, which is your intestines, which is your internal organ, which is your beginning and your ending. That's the quickest way you can die from a disease. And I'm not demonizing men on men. That's not here. Let's just call a spade a spade. The fact is that even if it's a woman that's getting in anal in and not using protection, and someone else has a disease, or she has a disease, or he has a disease, she can give it to him, and vice versa. That's the quickest way. It's not to respect the person in this thing. That's what the Bible means. He has no respect to person, meaning that has no respect to person. A disease don't know nobody's name. They just know how to work. Yeah. I'm out, y'all. Peace.